today's Green Thumb segment with Ted Lare Design Build, we're talking about roses, the kind that make your neighbors red with envy. Ryan Bates is here. And are roses pretty tough to grow?
Actually, the newer shrub-type roses are very, very easy to grow.
Really? Okay.
Don't take a lot of care, then a little pruning, and a little fertilizer, a little insecticide, a little fungicide, keep them looking clean and neat.
What kind of tools should I have to make sure that I...
Well, you can use a pair of scissors if they're real sharp. There are gardening scissors out there that you can use. But what I usually recommend is just a good sharp pair of pruners. Very easy to prune that way. And just go after anything that gets too long, or how do I make sure that it looks nice? Yeah, you can do that. The other thing you can do too is trim so that to encourage blooming. Okay. And by doing that, you want to go back to where there's a section of 5 leaflets. It's usually down maybe 3 or 4 inches below the spent blooms, and you just make a clipping right above that, and that'll encourage more flowering. Nice. All right. And how long does it take to get from a little plant to something that looks as nice as this? Actually, roses grow very quickly. It doesn't take too long. Even if I was to cut this plant back by a third, usually in about 3 to 4 weeks, it's fully back up to its full size again. So they grow fairly quickly. All right. Shade or sun? Lots of sun. Lots of sun. All right. Yep. And then Matinka had a question before I came out. She's like, make sure you ask him. She has holes in her leaves on her rose bushes. Yep. That can be caused by a couple things, but this time of year we're seeing a lot of Japanese beetle. That can be taken care of with a couple different products. Lyle talked about that a couple weeks ago with the Japanese beetle traps. They're just a little bag that you hang on the outside of your property, and it attracts those beetles to that bag. And then away from your plants. Very nice. Other thing you can use is one of these all-in-one flower care products. They, especially this 3-in-1 liquid that you mix up and pour around the base of the plant, it'll protect from Japanese beetles, other bugs, insects, and it also fertilizes the plant. It does that for 6 weeks. Excellent. So about 3 applications a year, and your roses are protected and will do quite nicely. And is that the pruner you recommend right there? Yep, yeah, that's a Felco pruner. They're about the best pruners you can get. All right, excellent. Well, we want to take some phone calls. We've got time for a couple of them this morning, and we have Donna from Johnston on the phone. And Donna, what's your question?
Well, we have roses, and that's my husband's department, and they're doing really well this year. My gardening question has to do with wildlife. Okay. We planted some hydrangeas, and it's either the deer or the rabbits that are eating them, and the deer have bothered and eaten off our tomatoes. Is there any repellent that's effective for deer and rabbits?
There are a few. There's one called Liquid Fence that works very well. It's probably about the best one I've seen out. I've also used in the past a mixture of wilt proof. It's a product that helps hold moisture in the leaves, but it also is like a waxy product. And you mix that, believe it or not, with hot pepper sauce. And that tends to help keep the rabbits and deer away. They don't like that hot, spicy taste. So there's a couple things you can do there. On your roses, probably best, or on your tomatoes, probably the best thing you can do is that cayenne pepper sauce, because it's not going to affect your plants. You just wash it off, and then you're pretty safe that way. All right. And we have Thomas from Adair on the phone. Thomas, what's your question? Thomas, are you there? Oh, we must have lost him. All right. Well, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed on roses. I have one in the front yard that doesn't look too great, so I think I'm going to try some of these, and I'll give Matinka the advice about the Japanese beetles, and we'll get those taken care of, too. Sounds good. All right. Well, Ted Lare Design Build is at the Old Cumming Apple Orchard. You can also check them out by way of our website, kcci.com. And next week, how to bring charm to your patio.